Well, hello everyone. This is Cheryl York, and I'm coming back to do another But God testimony. And this is another one of mine. I do have several people lined up that I plan to interview and everything, but right now we're still working on some of the technical things. So I'm here because I want to do at least one a week to just share another one of mine. Please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share. Yes, we have other podcasts, so I know you're probably getting notifications that we're doing others. My husband and I do a prayer one together. He has his own podcast. I also did a whole series that are called the Prodigal series, where I did six of those. And so this one, I think I'm on about number three, but I'm going to share a very short testimony today, something that happened to me several years ago. And this time, I don't necessarily need to read it, although you can find it on my blog. Again, by going to americareimagined.faith, you can click on blogs. I have a personal blog, and I also have the But God blog, which is testimonies, and several of them. I think I started it back in 2024. Somebody sent me a testimony, and I thought that would be a great idea to start blogging those things. So I have several on there, and several other people have them on there as well. So this one took place several years ago, back when we still lived in California. I worked. I was actually an advertising manager at the time, and I worked in Cambria, California, at the newspaper. But yet I lived in a little city called Paso Robles, which was about 25 miles away. And there was a two-lane highway in between that you had to drive to get from Paso Robles to Cambria, or from Cambria back to Paso Robles. And the two-lane highway was, on one side, it was a mountain, and on the other side, it was, you're falling down the side. There were no barriers or anything. If you went too far, you were going over. So, it was kind of always a little bit of a dangerous road anyway, especially since there was deer season, which is what this podcast is about. This one is called Three Deer. I was working as I said, at the newspaper in Cambria, and I had an evening meeting, so I didn't get to go home as early as I normally would. And it was kind of getting, dark outside, at night when I was finally able to get out of the meeting and drive home. And I was so tired. I was just spent. I was exhausted. I'd already been at work all day. And then, of course, the driving time there, the driving time back, and then this meeting that I'd had as well. So I was just really, really tired. I was really holding it together, to try to keep myself awake for the 25 minute drive home, where I was going to go at the time. I know I was married, but I think we only had one child at the time. And however, I'm not sure. I don't have the exact date on this, but I'm pretty sure we only had Erica at the time. But so I was, just trying to get home, and I was just so wanting to be there. And here I am driving along, and I had to have my window down because I wanted to make sure that I had fresh air on me and all that kind of stuff. Make sure there's no way you're going to fall asleep out here on this road all by yourself. And as I came around a corner, there were like certain corners that you would turn, and you would, like around a mountain or a hill or something like that. As I came around a corner, I could literally see headlights. And, well, there's nothing usual about that. I mean, it was a two-lane highway, one way and the other. But the headlights did not look like they were in their lane. By all appearance, it looked like this vehicle was coming at me in my own lane. So, of course, first instinct is, am I going to have to get into their lane? I mean, what's going on? Is this a drunk driver? What the world's going on? Well, then all of a sudden, I also noticed that there were deer in the road. And I quickly counted, and there were three. It was like a family of deer that was coming down out of the mountainous area and getting ready to go across the road and go down, apparently, the other side, the embankment or whatever you call that. They were all three following each other like ducks, one, two, three, in a row. And they weren't seeming like they were in a big hurry about it. So there I was on this road. It was getting dark. I had a vehicle coming toward me. I could see the headlights. Did not look like they were in their own lane. And now there are even three deer in the road. I honestly thought, this is it. This is it. This is over. I can't pull over. Because I'll end up a hill and I'll cause an accident anyway. I can't go to the right any more than I am because I could go over the side of this thing and roll and roll and roll. And who knows if anybody would find me, out there, or the vehicle being down the embankment. And I literally just closed my eyes for a minute, which is dangerous on a road. I realized that, but I did. And I said, Jesus. And then I opened up my eyes. There was no car. There were no deer. I was freaked out. I looked in my rearview mirror and I could still see the deer going on the other side, down, going over the side. And I could see the head, or the red lights of the car that had gone by me. Now, my eyes were closed. I did not see what happened. I'm not saying I drove through a crazy portal. I'm not saying something lifted me up and put me. I don't know what happened because I'm telling you honestly, my eyes were closed for not very long because it was pretty terrifying situation to be in, and I knew I had to make a decision. The only decision I made at that time was to say, Jesus, it had to have been some kind of a miracle because all of a sudden the deer were not hit. They were still alive. They were going they had come down the mountain and were going down to the and whatever you call it. I'm sorry, I should know that, but going over the side, and I could literally see the back lights of a vehicle that had passed me. They hadn't hit me, I hadn't hit them, neither of us hit the deer. I was just headed back home, still, again. And I never really did know what happened. But I have always, always believed that that was a miracle moment, that was Jesus stepping in and saving me, that I had angelic help. Did the angels lift up my whole cart? I don't know. I didn't see it. But there's no explanation for the it was literally only a two-lane road. Mountains on one side, and you would go over if you were on the other. There was nowhere for either of us to go. Now, even if the other person hadn't been in my lane and was in their lane, we both still should have had the problem of these three deer running through the road at the same time we were on it. So either way, I know that I know that I know that that was a miracle that saved my life that day, or that night. Actually, it was actually the evening. And today, all these years later, I'm still here. Praise the Lord. I've had many more children since, and we have four who are all actually grown up now. But this was a amazing, amazing, amazing experience for me. It wasn't very long, to be honest with you, after I'd gotten saved. Maybe I'd only been born again, what I consider born again. I'd always kind of known about the Lord, but after actually getting born again, I think maybe two, 2.5 years or something like that, maybe. It was around that time frame. And I'd always had people tell me, when you first get saved, God just does wonderful things. He's so good to you. He treats you like you're just a little baby goo goo gaga, and he just does everything for you and helps you out. And something great happened to me. Now, I'm not saying no more miracles have come since. Of course, I have more testimonies to share and everything as we go along. But that was truly a fabulous, fabulous testimony that I've always believed was a but God stepping in moment in my life. I probably would have ended up over the side. And who knows if anybody would have ever found me. So anyway, that's it really for this one. This one I know is much shorter, but I like to keep these short because I've found while podcasting myself and while watching podcasts, I tend to like the shorter ones. I tend to have a hard time getting into the ones that are too long. So I like to see something that's maybe, 15 to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I'm out of there. So I appreciate you guys taking the time. Please remember that it's going to be biblical, the newsletter. I send it out Monday through Friday, and I share Julie Green, Carolyn Dennis, uh, Nate Johnson, Charlie Shamp, several different people and in podcast form and even in written form, which is a great encouragement. I get wonderful, wonderful emails about, how it's changed the lives of people and given them hope for what God's doing right now. And then I also still do prophecies fulfilled. I haven't given up on doing that. I'm just not doing it anymore in a newsletter format once a week. No, now I do it on social media. That's on X, Getter, True Social, Telegram, and Zap It. I think I named all of them. I'm pretty sure I did. So I do it on that, and then so that the people that don't really like social media can still see the prophecies being fulfilled, I also created a blog for that as well. So I do have a prophecies fulfilled being fulfilled blog that people can check daily. I do that, try to do that Monday through Friday as well. And sometimes there's up to 20, 24. Sometimes there's only 15 that I find, but I'm still adding people like Julie Green, Carolyn Dennis, Joseph Z, even Kirk Vanderkook that I recently found within the last year. I'm, putting a lot of that on there so people can just visit it on a daily basis if they want to see what the Lord is doing. Because, the truth is the prophecies are wonderful. We need to be people that want to hear what the Lord is saying. But there are people out there in the church that still don't believe in prophets today. There are people out there that are not in the church that don't know the Lord, that have no idea what he's doing or that he's doing anything. So I really believe that at the beginning of this year in January, when the Lord told me to move from doing it in a newsletter to doing it on social media, that he was trying to reach out to people that wouldn't normally subscribe, wouldn't normally, just even care or think about that stuff, but that would need to see it in a place where it wouldn't normally appear. So also my friend Audrey puts our it's going to be biblical mailing on Facebook every day. If you don't want to subscribe to my newsletter, subscribe to her Facebook channel and you'll still be able to see it every day. Anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. I don't want to make this long, and I really, really hope that you will leave a comment on any one of the testimonies. I would love to hear if you would like me to share one of your testimonies, if you would like to submit it in written form, I can add it to the blog, or if you would like to do a podcast eventually with me. I just recently got Zoom, the Pro one, so that I can actually start interviewing people. So, anyways, I hope to see you soon. I pray that this testimony blesses you, and I will be back by next week with another one, whether it's one of mine or whether it's through an interview. I will be back again next week. God bless you all. Bye.